speaking of people that you should have no sympathy or respect for, here is Jeff Flake, still on his conservative reformation project. This has nothing to do with the Republican Party. Everything that we have witnessed over the past couple of weeks, nothing to do with the conservative movement. There is only one element. There's only one thing wrong with what's been going on with our government, and that is just Donald Trump, who incidentally, as you recall, was dropped out of a metaphorical helicopter and fell into the presidency without any help from all of those Republicans whatsoever.
One final question, because you were in New Hampshire. Are you thinking about running for president?
Every senator thinks of that. Some not very seriously. I'm probably one of those. Having said that, I do hope that somebody does run in the primary against the president. I think the Republicans need to be reminded of what conservatism really is and what it means to be decent.
Pause it. What vote has Jeff Flake taken that has not been aligned with Trump's agenda that expresses the true conservatism?
Also, could he fit any more pictures of his family in this shot behind him?
Right. I mean, give me a break. There is no conservatism. What is conservatism? It is like that. I mean, Latin exists, but nobody speaks it. It's a dead language. Conservatism is a dead ideology. It doesn't really exist in the world.
It's just perpetual reaction.
It is simply a label for a set of policies that are at its root sort of just fearful of anyone that is different from themselves in some way.
Well, it preserves hierarchy, right?
I hope Flake runs for president, though.
That
would be hilarious. Speaking of hierarchy and dominance displays, watching Donald Trump do that to Flake for the 2020 primary would be pretty funny.
That maintains a hierarchy that is fundamentally, though, I mean, the hierarchy it's not a generic hierarchy, right? Like, it's not like they like hierarchy for the sake of hierarchy. It is so that essentially white men like Jeff Flake can be on top. Now, they're willing to make some trade-offs here and there, but that's basically it. And outside of that, there is no other conservatism. And Jeff Flake surely must understand this now, because he's seen the entire conservative, so-called conservative movement. That is their organizing principle. It's not about deficits or not spending. If that's the case, there is not a single conservative in the Republican Party. Maybe there's a couple. We don't know if we don't know if they had the ability to stop anything that they would actually vote that way. But the vast majority of the Republican Party doesn't care what Jeff Flake thinks is conservatism. They are motivated by, and it's just, I don't know how anybody can argue otherwise.
Well, he's got an incentive to pretend that it's something else, because somebody just sent me a video of Jeff Flake speaking in support of apartheid in 1987.
Oh, yeah.
He was a lobbyist for the apartheid
Republican
government. Anybody in Republican politics supported or was on the wrong side of the liberation.
And Jeff Flake voted with Trump 84% of the time. He did not vote with Trump on immigration bans, and apparently with Gina Haspel at the CIA.
Here's the difference. I was polite when I said that Nelson Mandela should stay in prison,
right,
and the ANC should be banned, and that black South Africans should be systemically murdered and repressed. But I said specifically to never use the term coolie while we did it.
Right. So is there any issue beyond, that is greater in the imagination of the 95% of Republicans who voted for Donald Trump than his immigration stuff? Honestly, I got news for Jeff Flake. If he thinks there's conservatism, guess what? He's not one. He's just a corporatist who's mad about the immigration policies that they may chip away at low-cost labor.
He also named his most recent book The Conscience of a Conservative, which is Barry Goldwater's book.
Right.
Barry Goldwater, of course, said, moderation in protection of liberty is no virtue. Extremism in defense of freedom is no vice. So this is what that party is.
And
also
remember
a
what
guy who-
freedom meant
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I can have a lunch counter and I have to serve
Right.
black people at it.
Freedom and Goldwater was actually a pioneer of the I'm absolutely not racist. And if he literally had the perspective of some idiot that would call on this show. Like, I'm not personally racist and it's bad for business. But if we tell the South to stop empowering paramilitary terrorist organizations and systemically oppressing black people, that would be antithetical to freedom.
Yeah, I agree with the second part, right? Like extremism in defense of freedom. A-okay. Just have a different definition of freedom.
Right.